Hi, Ark. Right, I've done a little bit of research on your site and your competitors. Um, I'll do this video a little bit differently from what I would do from a normal client, only because with a normal client, I would go through a bit about what SEO is and how how we go about things. But if you can assume that there will be a methodology to a lot of the what I would say the foundation work to building up your SEO campaign, which is a standard, pretty much cookie cutter stuff, which is me submitting to things like directories and looking at the on-page structure at the minute and making some audits to the back end on WordPress. That's all standard stuff. We sort of just do housekeeping for a couple of weeks, make sure that the site is as good as it can be, and that we've got the basics like social accounts all linked up and audited, and the higher value directories like Yelp and things like that. So that will be done as standard. But which I think I explained to you a bit about before with backlinks, this is where the nitty gritty is really of understanding why a site is ranking or isn't ranking. And as you'll see here, then it's probably about 50% of the game. So the other part I mentioned before is the other 50% making sure that our destination is Google friendly, but then which is called on page, and this is the off page stuff. So I'll get into it. So just bringing up, excuse me, your competitors. So I did a quick search on here, Dentist East Grinstead. Let me just check the audio, that seems to be distorting a little bit, one sec. So as I mentioned before, I'm going to go into what I've seen as your competitors and yourself and just show you some metrics around your site and their site. I've chosen two competitors. One is High Street Dental Practice, the other is Southern Dental. Southern Dental have more locations and so on, so I think High Street Dental Practice will be more of a model to go on, and they're ranking above you for Dentist East Grinstead. Just want to draw your attention to a few things here. I'll run through these quite quickly, and I can explain further, but DA is domain authority, PA is page authority. This is around, historically, this is what Google would measure as a unit of value around a site, what authority it had, and what it refers to is the amount of power or link juice, as it's called, that goes to a domain, and then that builds up that domain. So the links that come in have a DA and a PA, and that will then collectively then build up these metrics. That's still important, but Google has changed its way of determining value more recently, and it's very much focusing on trust flow now. Trust flow is not just the measuring the DA, it's measuring the quality of the links coming in. So there's historically a lot of sites with a high DA with very low trust flow. So now CF is citation flow, which is around the number of links and the directories and the sort of the addresses, the amount of submissions you have out there for the company. So not worrying too much about CF, we use that more as a ratio to TF, but I'll explain that. That all sounds a lot of gobbledygook there, but this is the important bit. Your DA is similar to your main competitor here, apart from Southern Dental, because they seem to, I think they have a bit of a wider scope, and your PAs are not out of range, so that's fine. But one thing you'll notice here, when I was talking about ratio, these guys have we're looking for ideally a 1-to-1 ratio or above. They've got over a 1-to-1 ratio, so have High Street Dental, but yourself, you've almost got a ratio of 2.5 in the wrong direction, so your trust flow is too low for your citation flow, and I'll show you why. Let's look at High Street Dental first, and what I'm going to show you is what's called the anchor text cloud, and this will bring up the collective group of inbound anchor text, so the clickable text that's going to your site from other sites. And this is for your competitor. They have what I would say a pretty sensible anchor text cloud. It's either websites, branded anchor text, visit website, and then they've got some targeted stuff in here as well. Dental implants Crawley, teeth whitening West Sussex. Sort of stuff that, you know, that would start to build up a what we call a natural and healthy ratio of branded to targeted. And in their backlinks they have a lot of low trust flow here, but their top ones are what is actually giving them some more some power. So they've got some from, this is Dental Focus, which seems to be a similar site to what we were talking about doing. But they've got a number, maybe 10 or so, 8 or 10 or so that are giving them some benefit, but they are all branded. So you can see here TrustFlow 41, but they're above 0. Anything on 0 is basically pointless. If anything, it can be detrimental to your ranking. So it's not about the number of links; it's the quality of links. Coming to your site, I don't need to be alarmed by this. It's not insurmountable, but it is something we need to address. Sorry, I'm leaving you hanging there, aren't I? What we have on your site is that you have some what we call negative SEO, and it can be mitigated in the future, and we can tidy it up from this point. But as you'll see quite clearly here, when we look at your anchor text cloud, we have a lot of spammy text around Viagra, and this is very common for negative SEO. It could come from anywhere. Someone's just targeted your site and just sent a load of links to it to try and build up their whatever site they're trying to promote, which is fine for them but not good for you. So as you can see here, you've got some St James's practice, which I know is the old historical business, and you've probably got a few bits in here around target anchor text, but yeah, as you can see, there's the vast majority is around Viagra. So you can see this cloud here, these are all the percentages of links. You've got Smile Gallery and St James's here. Pretty much the rest, apart from some visit website, is all Viagra stuff. So that's not helping your trust flow. That's what's brought your trust flow down. These are all 0 trust flow links that are coming in. So what we would need to do is to come up with a strategy to get rid of that. So we can, last resort is you submit it to Google and they remove them, but they get thousands of these requests. So we would look to do some other measures first. We could look to do a 301 redirect, is the simple one, which I'll speak to my web guy about, just about the detail of it. I think we might be able to push you over to an SSL, which is from HTTP to HTTPS. If not, then there'll be another solution. But we need to look at that, because it could be a reasonably straightforward approach to just improving your site health immediately from a backlink profile point of view. The other measure, you don't necessarily have to remove them. You just start building good links, which then tips the balance and gets our trust flow higher. So with that said, and then looking at your backlinks, we've got a similar situation. It's not showing your spammy links here, but what it is showing is directories. So it looks as though here we've got a directory. So find it, for example. I see this one quite a lot for the UK. It's just a really low quality directory. Very easy to add the business on, and normally you'll find the easier it is to add, the lower quality those links are going to be. Now, on the face of it, looks harmless and somewhat benign, but you've got this find it dozens of times, and directory.hertfordshire, which is subdomain. They're just all crap directories, basically. The directories that I would sign you up for, things like yelp.co.uk, Thompson Local, the Independent, Standard. Directories that are good, and they normally require some verification of the business, hence why they're just better quality. So we will be doing those as a citation push, but we'd look to tidy these up as well. So there's two elements we'd look to improve your backlink profile on straight away. So I just wanted to bring that up. We don't worry about it too much. We can build upon it, we can get rid of that, and then we can look into actually building up your your backlink profile in a more proactive way. Okay, so I did this video before and it didn't record, so it will jump to another section now where I'm looking at your potential traffic for East Grinstead and Crawley, I think, and then also having a quick look at the site, just of some basics that we would get done. I may have mentioned this before somewhere else in the video, but I've sort of saved you the whole sort of SEO speak of going into how we do things and all the methods, because a lot of that is really to get in people's trust, to know that to get them to know that I know what I'm doing. But I hope with Mark and our meeting, we've sort of overcome that barrier. So the yeah, feel free to ask, obviously, of what things I will be doing, but there will be a standard procedure and methodology that we'll be doing to build up your citations, looking at your social profiles, doing a website SEO audit, and building up the right ratio of your on-page structure. So yeah, that's how we start. I think is first getting a house in order, and then allocating some time over the months to sort of systematically build up your areas of focus for the business. Okay, hopefully this recorded this time, and I'll stick it in the middle of the video, and we'll have a chat soon. Cool. Okay, so I was looking at Sussex, but I think actually to keep things a bit more targeted at the minute, then yeah, I would look at Crawley, East Grinstead, depending on what you thought, maybe some other, draw a circle around here and go from there. But just looking at Crawley and East Grinstead, starting with East Grinstead, volume-wise, so 210 hits a month. The synonyms of that would probably bring that potential up to around sort of 700 or 800 a month. So there's obviously potential there. You've obviously got some rankings here anyway, and you're ranking on page 1 for a few of those terms. It's just a matter of pushing you up into the first position and potentially into the maps as well. So yeah, that would allow us to get some early results, hopefully. As you can see here, your DA is similar to High Street Dental Practice, Oasis Dental. Ignore that to a degree because that's an authority site, and your PA is quite similar. Southern Dental have got a bit more of a DA, but it's going to be a trust flow that's affecting that more than anything else. Just draw your attention to something, and I know I'm jumping around a little bit here, Art, but there is there is a lot to cover. A lot of it you don't need to know, to be honest, and I'm sure you'll learn in time, but there's lots of other things that you may have questions about, but I'm trying to get it down to the things that really are going to make the difference in the first instance. Notice here, which is similar to what we were talking about with emergency dentistry and how this is working at the moment, EMDs, exact match domains. These guys here, the Crawley Dentist, Crawley Dental, so crawley-dental-clinic.co.uk, Crawley Sussex, oh that's an NHS. But notice how those two are top. I can almost guarantee, it's not coming up at the moment, the software is not doing it, but I can almost guarantee these will have lower metrics than the other sites here, like, Southern Dental. But the reason they're ranking is that they've bought an exact match domain. So we can look at ranking the Smile Gallery with a particular page around Crawley. Another method is to actually build up some exact match domains for you, something along the lines of the Crawley Dentist, and yeah, it would just be a map over of the Smile Gallery. It could be the Crawley Dentist powered by the Smile Gallery, for example. Just saying that you're branching out and getting in touch with people in Crawley. It can be done really reasonably professionally, but I just thought I'd mention that. So with that at 390, and then you times that up by about 2.5 again, even in this area you could see a potential of maybe 1,500 hits a month. We can get you onto the first page, and in the first half of the first page we could maybe command 50-60% of that traffic, and then you start to work your way outwards and potentially into the county as well. I don't know how far the catchment area could be. Brighton's got 1,300 hits a month just for Brighton, but Horsham maybe as well. Let's just check quick. Horsham, sorry. Horsham. I know you mentioned that when we were sitting. Again, 390. Causeway Dental being top. See if their metrics come up. No, they're not. So no one seems to be doing an exact. Oh, Dentist Horsham. Here we go. There's one. Yeah. So yeah, there's definitely some scope there. Sorry if this is a little bit. I've sort of jumped straight into it, but I didn't really want to go through the ins and outs of SEO with you. That'll happen over time, and I'm sure you'll pick it up as we go along. But this really is where quite quickly, you're looking at the 20% that makes the 80% of the difference, and it comes down to these backlinks and understanding what the trust flows are, and then looking at these first pages and understanding what the strategy is and the best way to approach each competition, really. Remembering that ranking for Dentist East Grinstead more effectively will push us up the rankings for a number of other similar phrases to this that have traffic. Okay, I'll leave it there, and hopefully we can have a chat soon. Cheers, Ark.